This is the moment you realize that the win feels hollow. Every founder dreams of the "I made it" moment. The contract gets signed, the revenue number flips to 7 figures. The company hits its valuation target. You've worked nights, missed birthdays, sacrificed weekends, all to get here. And then one morning you wake up and there's no rush. There's no victory lap, just a dull, almost imperceptible meh. It's disorienting. You thought success would feel like fireworks, but it feels like someone forgot to light the fuse. You look around at the same office, the same people, the same problems, except now they're bigger and more expensive. The world didn't shift to match your achievement. You are still you. And the part that nobody tells you is that this is incredibly common. Founders, executives, high achievers, they hit the milestone, and within days or weeks, the feeling fades. And that's because the game you've been playing, chasing bigger, faster, more, it conditions your brain to crave that climb and not the summit. And when the climb is over, your system crashes. And the real danger here is that most people, they misdiagnose this. They think that they chose the wrong goal. So they choose a bigger one, more revenue, a higher valuation, a flashier exit. But the same pattern repeats itself, faster each time, until you've built a life that you don't actually want, just to avoid feeling still. This is the first crack in the illusion of endless growth. And if you don't address it here, you'll end up in the endless loop of achieving more, but feeling less. So now it's time to talk about why your definition of winning is built on borrowed metrics, and why you've been playing a game that was never really designed to make you feel fulfilled. This is the problem with borrowed metrics. Most founders, they start out chasing freedom, the ability to call your own shots, work on your own terms, and decide where your time goes. But somewhere along the way, the scoreboard changes. Instead of asking, does my business serve my life? You start asking yourself, how do I measure up against other founders? The metrics you use, the revenue, the headcount, the valuation, number of clients, it didn't originate with you. They were absorbed from LinkedIn highlight reels, industry gossip, masterminds, and the subtle competition inside your own peer group. You didn't choose them consciously. They chose you. So this is the problem. Borrowed metrics will always keep you chasing because they're not tied to your actual values or desired lifestyle. When you hit them, you don't feel fulfillment. You feel relief. Relief that you're not falling behind. Relief that you've proven yourself, at least for now. But relief is fleeting. Within days, the goalpost moves. Someone else in your circle announces a bigger raise, a better deal, a higher profit margin. And suddenly what felt impressive now feels inadequate. This isn't just a mental game. It shapes every decision that you make in your business. You start taking on clients you don't really enjoy, launching products that don't really align, overcomplicating your team structure, all to keep feeding the scoreboard. You drift further from the original reason that you started and deeper into a business model that owns you. The truth is, until you define your own scoreboard, you'll always be playing someone else's game. And when you play someone else's game, you lose. Even if you technically win. Next, we're going to break down exactly how to strip away everyone else's definition of success, so you can build a version that is yours, one that actually sustains you instead of draining you. This is defining your personal scoreboard. Let's go. If you want a business and life that you can sustain indefinitely, you need to start by defining what winning actually means to you. And not in vague terms like more freedom or more money. I mean in a precise, measurable, lived reality term. Your personal scoreboard is the set of metrics and milestones that directly reflect whether your life is working for you, not whether it looks impressive to anyone else. So for example, my personal scoreboard might include something like this: the number of hours per week that I spend on deep, meaningful work versus reactive tasks. How many days each month I get to leave my phone in another room for hours at a time. Whether my income supports my lifestyle without forcing me into high-stress growth. How much energy I have at the end of the day for my family, my hobbies, or creative work. Notice this: none of those metrics show up on a LinkedIn post. No one gives you likes for them. And that's exactly the point. They're invisible to everyone but you. This is the critical shift. Your scoreboard has to be self-reinforcing, meaning that the more you play by it, the more you win for yourself. That's what keeps you in the game without burning out. To define yours, ask yourself, what do I want my average day to look like? Not the highlight reel, the real ordinary Tuesday. What level of income feels abundant without being a trap? Growth for growth's sake is just performance addiction in disguise. What experiences do I want more of? Freedom isn't an abstract. It's specific choices you want available to you consistently. Once you set your own scoreboard, something really interesting happens. You stop being impressed by other people's numbers because they're not really playing your game. Next, we're going to talk about how to design your business so that every decision moves you closer to your personal scoreboard and away from the traps that pull you off course. So let's get into it. Engineering your business around the scoreboard, okay? Once you know your personal scoreboard, the real challenge begins. Aligning your business to serve it, not to sabotage it. This is where most founders fail. They set clear personal goals, but their business model, marketing strategy, and daily habits, they are designed for someone else's gain. So what most people aren't going to admit is that if your business requires you to abandon your scoreboard to keep it alive, it's not sustainable. It is a trap. The fix starts with a ruthless filter for opportunities. Every project, partnership, or growth idea, it's got to pass one test. Does this move me closer to my scoreboard? If not, it's an instant no, even if it's too good to pass up. In fact, the most dangerous opportunities aren't the obvious bad ones. They are the shiny, high reward ones that pull you back into a lifestyle that you swore you would never return to. So next, you engineer systems that enforce your scoreboard automatically. What does that mean? It means structuring your offers so your best clients don't require your constant presence, right? It means automating or delegating any task that pulls you into low-value busy work. It means designing marketing that brings in leads without turning you into a content hamster on that dreaded wheel. And here's where it gets a little bit uncomfortable. Sometimes the right move for your scoreboard is to shrink. It's to make less money, cut clients, or slow growth in order to regain control. This typically goes against the always be scaling narrative, right? But scaling without alignment, it's just accelerating towards burnout. So remember, your business is not the prize, it's the vehicle. Its only purpose is to deliver the life you actually want. If it's not doing that, you're not running a business. You are running an expensive, high-stress hobby. So, next we're going to tackle the hidden performance traps that even experienced founders fall into, and how they quietly dismantle your scoreboard if you are not paying enough attention. This is the hidden performance traps that dismantle your scoreboard. Even founders who have been in the game for decades can fall into performance traps because they're baked into our culture. These traps, they don't announce themselves. They disguise themselves as good business sense or leadership or responsibility. But under the surface, they're slowly eroding the life that you actually want. The first trap is comparison-based growth. You stop measuring your wins against your own scoreboard, and you start measuring them against someone else's. A peer gets featured in Forbes, and suddenly your quiet, steady progress feels small. You see a competitor's $1 million launch, and your $500K year feels like a loss. This is how founders accidentally swap their scoreboard for someone else's, and often don't notice until they are years off course. The second trap is achievement addiction. It's not just about hitting goals. It's about needing them to feel worthy. You build your identity on outpacing your past self, which works until you reach a point where more stops making your life better. Now you're chasing growth for growth's sake, blind to the trade-offs that it's creating. The third trap is hero founder syndrome. That's believing you have to be the center of every win. You convince yourself that clients stay because of you personally, that quality drops without your direct involvement, that your team can't handle certain deals. The result? You create a business that can't function without you, making freedom impossible. The final trap? It's invisible scope creep. A small project takes on extra deliverables, just this once. You add one more meeting to stay close to the work. Your marketing commitments slowly expand until your calendar is full again. These micro additions, they seem harmless in isolation, but collectively, they rewrite your lifestyle without you even realizing it. So the key is to build trap awareness into your business reviews. Every month, ask yourself, am I operating inside my scoreboard or outside of it? If you're outside, you're in a trap. And it's probably time to make cuts, even if they hurt. So next up, we're going to break down the exact framework that I use with founders to rebuild their business so it's scoreboard proof, meaning it can scale without pulling them back into these traps. Let's get into it. The scoreboard proof business framework. When I work with founders on redesigning their businesses, the goal isn't just more revenue. It's to make the business immune to the traps that we just talked about. That's what I mean by scoreboard proof. It's a structure, okay? It keeps your life aligned, even when opportunities, pressure, and comparison try to pull you off track. So the first pillar of this is capacity clarity. Most founders have no clear upper limit for time, energy, or client volume. So without just one more is always possible until burnout hits. Your scoreboard-proof business starts with a defined cap for how much you're going to work, how many clients you're going to serve, and how many initiatives you're going to run at once. This forces strategic choice making. The second pillar is offer hierarchy. Instead of piling on random services, you build your business around 1 to 2 flagship offers that account for about 80% of your revenue. These are your highest margin, lowest effort services, the ones that let you deliver excellence without overextending. All other offers either feed into these or they get eliminated. The third pillar is ownership transfer. A scoreboard-proof business cannot rely on you as the bottleneck. This means building systems, SOPs, and documented processes that allow your team or your contractors to run operations without your constant oversight. The goal is that you can step away for weeks without revenue or quality dropping. The fourth pillar is impact to effort ratio tracking. Every quarter you measure each activity, content, client work, partnerships, on 2 axes. How much revenue/impact it generates and how much energy it costs you. Anything in the low impact, high effort quadrant, that has to get restructured, delegated, or cut completely. Finally, the 5th pillar, future alignment checks. Twice a year, ask yourself, if I kept running this business exactly as it is for 5 years, would I still be living my ideal forever? If the answer is no, you fix it now before growth locks in the wrong structure. The founders who stick to this framework, they don't just grow. They grow inside a life they actually want to keep. That's the difference between chasing more and building something that you can sustain for decades. Next up, we're going to wrap this up all together with a challenge that forces you to define your scoreboard, confront your traps, and commit to building your own scoreboard-proof business. Let's do it. The 30-day Scoreboard Reset Challenge. I want to leave you with something that you can act on, okay, immediately. Not just an idea, but a system reset that you'll feel in your business and your life within a month. I call it the Scoreboard Reset Challenge. And it is designed to strip away every false metric that you've been chasing, while also locking in habits that support your ideal forever. So here's how it works. Week 1, purge the false metrics, audit your scoreboard, list every single metric that you check or track, revenue, social followers, engagement numbers, client count, whatever. Now for each one ask, does this directly improve my life if it grows? If the answer is no, it's not a true scoreboard metric. For the next 30 days, you are not allowed to check it. This forces you to stop getting dopamine from meaningless growth and start focusing on what matters. Week 2, define your forever framework. Write it down in detail, what your ideal forever looks like. Income, hours, energy, creative work, personal time. Then reverse engineer the exact business model and client mix that would support it. This becomes your new lens for every decision. Week 3, restructure for alignment. Using the forever framework, start cutting or reshaping anything in your business that doesn't fit. Offers, meetings, marketing tactics, even client relationships. Replace them with higher leverage moves, a simpler offer, one recurring marketing channel, or a smaller, higher quality client base. Week number 4, install the checkpoints. Set up bi-weekly alignment audits. 15 minutes to check if you're staying inside your forever framework. If you drift, correct it immediately. Over time, this is going to train you to make alignment the default, not an afterthought. The point here isn't to finish this in 30 days, it's to break the autopilot loop of chasing the wrong scoreboard and to build a habit of protecting the right one. Founders who do this, they don't just earn more in a calmer way. They end up with a business that's shock-proof against burnout and temptation. That's how you go from just surviving to truly living the life that you built this all for. Now, if you really want to build a life that you want, feel free to subscribe to my newsletter. It's located at natberman.com. Or if you want to join a whole big giant group of us doing this together, our community is located at joinbrandbuilt.com. And as usual, if you haven't subscribed yet to my channel, click the button, and I'll catch you in the next video.